What's up guys and welcome to today's video, and this one is another painful video for me to make, just like the video where I compared Sunshine and Galaxy, as I'm going to be trying to talk about the bad things about Super Mario 3D World, which is going to actually be really difficult. I really love this game as much as I love all of the other 3D Mario games, and I don't actually agree with many of the things people say about this game when they claim it's like one of the worst Mario games made, because this game is so different to all of the others, but it's also good in that way, and it's not like it's different for a bad reason. But today I'm going to be giving you some of the reasons you might not want to get the game when it comes out on Switch, just in case you're like not sure whether to get it or not. And a couple of weeks ago I actually made a video on why this game is so amazing, so if you want you can watch that as well, and it'll be linked in the description, so you can try and make a decision on whether or not to get this. But anyway, if you're new, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy this video. I make loads of videos on Super Mario games and other Nintendo stuff, so if you enjoy that type of content, please subscribe and make sure to like the video, as well as comment your own opinions on this game and whether or not you're going to be buying it. But anyway, I'll start off with my first reason, which is probably the biggest complaint people had about the game, and that reason is the game is very linear. Because in the past, 3D Mario games have had like big open world levels, which people really loved, like in Super Mario 64. I think you could get almost any star you wanted to in each level, and you didn't have to do them in a set order, and each level was like a big open world you could explore to collect your stuff. And then in Super Mario Sunshine, it got a little bit more linear, but you still had to explore these big levels and go back to them to get the next stars. And then Super Mario Galaxy was like half linear and half exploration. Well, actually, it was probably more linear. It still did have some big open world levels, like the Honey Hive Galaxy, which I really loved when I was a kid. So people always praise these games for being really fun, as it gives you the creativity to explore how you want to. But on Super Mario 3D World, the levels are actually like similar to the 2D Mario games where you just have to go from the start to the finish, and there's a flagpole at the end of the level. So yeah, the game is very linear and there isn't much exploration to do, so if that doesn't sound like your favorite Mario game, then you're probably better off buying Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch, as it's probably the most open 3D Mario game so far. So yeah, you can always get that if you don't feel like a linear 3D Mario is your type of game. But even though the game is linear, this doesn't have to be a bad thing, and it also does bring positives to the game, as every level seems so different from one another. There's so much variety in this game, so every level will feel like a new experience, and it will always keep you excited to see what's next. And you'll never get bored of like one theme, because the next level will be completely different. So even though the game is linear, it has so much to do, and it always feels refreshing when you go onto another level. And as well as that, the game also does have collectibles inside each level, so you can collect 3 green stars and 1 stamp in every single level, and they actually add a bit of exploration to the game because they're usually in hidden places. So it's not really true that you're just going from point A to point B, because you do have to collect some of the green stars to even go on to certain levels like the boss fights, and this adds exploration to the game. Although it isn't as open world as stuff like Super Mario 64, it still is fun, and it means you're not just going in a straight line like in a 2D Mario game. So it has a good balance of a big variety of shorter levels, but also some secrets you can try and find without the game just guiding you to them. So that's why this negative thing about the game can be turned into a positive. So this next reason to not buy the game is for people who've already played the game on the Wii U and finished it, or maybe just people who don't even want to play the Super Mario 3D World part. And just want to try out Bowser's Fury. Now, Bowser's Fury does look so fun, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it in just a few days. I'm just constantly thinking about Bowser's Fury now, and it's getting really exciting. If you're not even wanting to give the Super Mario 3D World game a chance and just want to play Bowser's Fury, it may not be worth $60 just to buy that, because although it looks really fun, it's not going to be like a huge long game that you can play for like tens of hours. It might be quite short, and if you don't want to spend $60 just to play a short version of a 3D Mario game, then maybe it's not the best game for you to get, and you'll probably get your money's worth buying Mario Odyssey or Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So yeah, if you're planning to get this game, even though you've completed it and you don't really want to play the main game again, then maybe think about if you're going to get your money's worth, or you should maybe spend it on something else. But I definitely think Bowser's Fury will be really good, and it is worth it, especially if you're going to play a lot of the Super Mario 3D World game as well. A thing that people have said they don't like about this game is the movement feels kind of more limited than usual in 3D Mario games, because in this game you can only move in 8 directions, so you can go up and down and left and right, and then like diagonally in each direction. But in all the other 3D Mario games, you have like full 360 degrees to move and turn around, which feels more like free, and it's good for exploration. But in this game, because it's more linear, you can only move in these 8 directions, and it can make your character feel a bit more limited, and so the controls maybe feel sluggish at sometimes, and I have noticed it does sometimes feel a bit slow to get good speed in the game, and especially when collecting the flagpole. you can just fall, which is a bit annoying. But luckily when they're releasing the game on Switch, the speed of the characters will be improved, but you'll still only be able to move in 8 directions, I think, which some people might not really like getting used to if they're used to all the older games. And so if that sounds like something you don't really want, maybe it's best you don't get this game. Also, the moveset is more limited in this game, except when you get power-ups, you do get extra moves, which is really cool, but the base, like, Mario character can't really do the cool stuff he used to be able to do, like dive and roll. But I've seen in the Bowser's Fury trailer, you actually see Mario dive and then roll, so they could be improving it when it comes out on Switch. So maybe you can wait until it comes out to see what the controls actually look like, and then make your decision then if you don't really like the controls on the Wii U. Another complaint people have about the game is that it's too easy. I guess this is kind of true. At some points, you can just run through the levels using a power-up and not really have anything to worry about. But I've actually noticed the game is really difficult if you don't have one of the power-ups that helps you with like movement. And if you're just playing as Mario, then sometimes there's actually a challenge to do some of the jumps because you need to get good enough speed to make it. But if you're playing as like Rosalina and have good power-ups, the game can actually suffer from being too easy. And so for the gamers who really like a challenge, maybe play Super Mario Sunshine. I found that game harder than Super Mario 3D World, I think, but maybe I'm just not very good at that game. And I guess Super Mario 64 is definitely much harder than Super Mario 3D World. But the game makes up for it by once you complete like the main game, you unlock 3 extra worlds. These actually have some really tough levels, and the final level in the game, in the last special world, is so insane. I don't think I've ever completed it myself. I've seen videos of it and it looks impossible, especially if you don't have any power-ups and you're just playing as Mario. That sounds so difficult. So maybe if you think the game is too easy, there is still a challenge for you out there, and you can just decide whether you think it's worth it for the extra levels. So yeah, it's not too much of a problem that the game is too easy, because if you want a challenge, you can just try not using power-ups as much, and you've also got the harder levels at the end. Similar to the game being too easy, some of the boss fights do suffer from being quite boring, not much of a challenge, as a lot of them are just repeated bosses, and some of them you just have to like jump on their head, and they don't really do much that could kind of hurt you if you know how to dodge and move out of the way of their attacks. Like Boom Boom is a cool boss, but he definitely is quite easy in this game, and the big bully guy who you have to knock into a pipe is super easy. And so if you do really like harder boss fights, there are much better ones in other Mario games, like in Super Mario Galaxy 2. I know it has a bunch of really cool bosses that are much more creative, but there are still some really cool ones in Super Mario 3D World that I like, especially the one where you have to climb onto the plates to attack the boss. It's not too hard, especially if you have a cat Mario, but it is really fun and creative. But yeah, if you really like your bosses and want them to be a bit harder, maybe this isn't the game for you. So Super Mario 3D World also doesn't have every power-up that's been in other Mario games. I made a video on some of the power-ups that could be in the game, like the mini mushroom or the propeller mushroom, and so maybe your favorite power-ups aren't in this game and you don't really want to get it for that reason, but these aren't really very good reasons for why you shouldn't get the game, because it's really fun overall. But yeah, it doesn't even have an ice flower, so maybe that's like your favorite power-up and that would stop you from wanting this game. I don't really know, but it does have one of my favorite ever Mario power-ups, which is the cat suit, as you can climb up walls and do like a swipe attack, which is really cool. So yeah, maybe you'd prefer a different Mario game with other power-ups. But yeah, you can tell it's quite hard for me to come up with bad things about the game. But another thing is it has kind of basic characters. So it has Mario, Luigi, Blue Toad, Peach, and Rosalina. And they all do their special abilities, which is cool, but a lot of people would way prefer to see someone like Waluigi instead of Peach or something like that. So if you don't like the characters, you could play a different other game, but it's like one of the only 3D Mario games that even has more characters than just Mario that you can play as. So it's kind of not even a bad feature if there aren't that many good characters. So this next reason I kind of count as a good thing about the game, but some people might not enjoy it, so I'm going to mention it. So the worlds all have a theme, like in 2D Mario games. So they have the desert world, the snow world, and other stuff like that. But in Super Mario 3D World, even though the worlds have themes, each level in them doesn't really stick to that theme. There's only like 1 or 2 levels in each world that is based on the theme of the world that is found in. So it means there aren't many snow levels or like sand levels, and each world just has kind of random levels in it. And now, if you don't really like the sound of that and you want to have distinct worlds with a bunch of similar levels, then you might not like this game. But in my opinion, this makes it even better because it has so much variety in it instead. Because sometimes I can get kind of bored of playing a whole world of very similar levels, and I like that this game doesn't really do that, and every level feels different, because I'm not too much of a fan of desert levels, so I'm kind of glad that the desert world doesn't have too much just sandy themed levels. But yeah, maybe you don't like that and you'd rather play New Super Mario Bros. U. The last reason I could come up with is kind of stupid as well. well, and that's that there isn't much use for stamps. So stamps are one of the collectibles in the game along with the green stars, and there's one in each level. And you used to be able to post them on Miiverse on the Wii U, but now that's shut down. There isn't a use for them on the Wii U. But when it's coming to the Switch, you can put them in the background of your levels with the camera, but it still doesn't really have much of a use. You can just share your photos to Twitter or Facebook, but the stamps don't really do much in the game for you to help you, and so it'd be kind of cooler to see them have a use, but they don't really add much to the game, and that might turn someone away from getting the game. But I don't really know if any of these points are that helpful, but hopefully they made you make a decision. I've also tried to defend all of the points because I really don't think this game is bad, and I've seen a lot of people realize that the game didn't deserve all of its hate, which is really nice to see, because when it first came out, a lot of people did complain for having these features. In my opinion, it really isn't bad, and some of these reasons make it actually good. So yeah, I hope you liked my video. It was probably very biased and the reasons were quite dumb, so I'm sorry about that. But if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe and like the video. And yeah, comment some of your favorite things about the game or some of the things you don't like about it, and I'll respond down below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.